Hi, Deacon Miguel. How are you?
Father Ricardo, good morning. How are you doing?
Well, it's good. A lot of masses, but life is good. Life is good.
Yeah, yeah,
And
good, good,
how is it
good,
going for
good.
the weekend? Have you reflected on the gospel?
I've been able to read it and reflect on it. It just seems like there are so many things there that just come to my mind that the gospel is feeding me, that is moving me. And how about you? Have you been able to review it already?
Yes, and I'm always kind of touched by the simplicity of the healing
Mhm.
of Peter's mother-in-law, but also the profundity of it, and
Yes.
and the part of a human person being with Jesus. It's nice. What did you think about her?
No, I totally agree. I mean, it's something, the image can be easily lost, because it's like in a sentence, Jesus is told that Peter's mother-in-law is sick. So he goes immediately, he touches her, he looks at her, he lifts her up, and then suddenly, period, and boom, she's healed, and she goes on to start serving. But for me, I can only imagine the just the powerfulness of that incident for Simon's mother-in-law to be, just seeing who's in front of her, and for the power of the eyes of Jesus just going and into her soul, and to be able to heal her, the power of the touch. For me, it's incredible just to think about that, Father Ricardo.
For me, it's also incredible that, well, she's a woman. She
Mm,
doesn't have to be touched by anyone,
right,
and it's a sign of respect. Maybe
right.
people from her household would be able to, but Jesus just comes in and he knows. Little detail is that she's the boss in that house because she's like the oldest, and a woman is the one that has to coordinate things in the house. It's not the husband. The husband is outside, but inside it's her. And
Right.
so she is the one that coordinates. She's sick with a fever, and Jesus comes in and he takes over the power. And she kind of accepts it
Right.
because goes to grab her hand and she allows him. So
Right.
it's also a releasing my power and giving it to you. What do you think about that?
No, I think we can relate to some testimonies of the experience of our own personal experience of just for us to be present to someone, just to even not even say a word, but when someone is sick or someone is dying, and that we're called, and we just go and just be present, and to be able to hang on to that person's hand, to be able to look in her eyes or his eyes, and to be able to say, it's all good, Jesus is with you. And you just see this sense of relief from this person that is going through this difficult time. I don't know. Have you had an experience like that
It
maybe
is.
even you could share with
Yeah, no.
us?
And it is like you say, it's like a person can be a CEO. A person can be the greatest and powerful person, but when the frailty of illnesses arrive and the priest arrives of somebody that influences a little bit that the presence and the environment, they let go of all pretenses and everything is
Yes,
fine. Like you say, you have that beautiful moment in which everything is broken and you can touch and you say, Jesus is here for you.
yes,
And all the sacrament of the sick is based on something similar. And of
right,
course, you work in hospice, so you know it firsthand.
right.
And she's
Yeah,
again, the boss, but no, you're the boss and you're here for me. And
yeah,
that's amazing. The
yeah.
fact that also Jesus pulls her up is,
Hmm.
can salute you and just leave you there. No, you're gonna be better. You're gonna do something. You're gonna get out of yourself in whatever you're going through. That is not easy.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I mean, even in my own personal experience, remembering that time when I had that encounter with Jesus, and just to be in that moment, to be in that place where the people that came to me to pray for me, they were just praying to Jesus for me. And it was the most powerful experience I've had in my entire life. I remember Jesus seeing me, and I remember Jesus saying, I love you, I forgive you, I love you, and I forgive you. And it was just an incredible experience, something that's changed my life forever. And yeah, very, very powerful. Yeah.
Absolutely, and it's yet so simple. The gospel on Thursday, it said that Jesus sent the disciples on a mission, and he tells them that he will send them with authority, but then tells them, don't bring this, don't bring the other, don't bring the other.
Hmm.
With authority, but what authority if we're carrying nothing? Yes, I am.
Hmm.
And just
That's
by
right.
giving Jesus, like you're saying, I am here, I
Right.
love you. And
Right.
it's almost like opening your heart to the simplicity of the moment and the yet powerful moment of the healing of Jesus. And she stands up and she starts serving. It's not
Yeah.
a submission type of reality. It's just great. This has touched me so much that my response is just to become a servant, not in the bad way, negative way, but on the
Right.
beautiful thing. I want to also touch your hearts. I want to touch your lives, not only to Jesus, but to everyone.
Yeah, I think that's something that I need to reflect on more and more, and remember that there is a Jesus that constantly wants to heal me, constantly wants to comfort me. But the only way I can really feel or be open to that embrace is I have to allow myself to go to this place where, where this encounter can't take place, that I don't get all too busy with my stuff, or I don't get too busy with my stuff on the phone, on the computer, or work, or whatever. But it's about going and preparing myself for this encounter. That's
Exactly.
right. It's closer to me than I think.
But then, can we jump to another moment in the
Yeah,
gospel where it says that Jesus went to a deserted place to pray?
right. Mhm.
I was reflecting that sometimes we need music, we need silence, complete silence. We put a lot of conditions, and God happens in a very simple environment. The Last
Right.
Supper was not with parties, with trumpets, nothing. It was Jesus washing the feet of the disciples and breaking himself with the greatest love ever. And
Yeah.
Jesus went to the desert to do the same. Just, I'm going to be with my Father, and that's it. No
Yeah.
questions, no begging him for anything. It's just him and me. Have you had those moments of prayers where everything is bothering?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, um, but it is something that I need to, not, yeah, I have to force myself to do that because I can get too busy. I have things to do, and as I was mentioning, and sometimes those things become more important than my time with Jesus, with our God. And that's what Jesus is to me is telling me in this gospel. Jesus is busy. He's healing all these people with all kinds of diseases. He's expelling demons, and he knows that tomorrow or in the morning there's going to be many more people coming, being brought to him. He knows he's busy. He's busy, but yet he still shows me that regardless of how busy he is, how busy I am, Jesus finds time to go and be at peace, to be one with the Father. Wow. I mean, powerful. I mean, for me, it's like a smack in the face, just, and especially going here, as we get into Lent, I mean, it's something that I have to keep in my mind, I need to find time to go, to be one with the Father. Jesus showed me how.
Absolutely, but I think you do it somehow because since you work in hospice, sometimes you sit with a person and there's not much to say,
No,
just to be. And for that person, you would be Jesus, and that quiet moment in the desert where nothing
that's
makes
right.
sense, and you will be a super blessing for the person anyway. It's amazing how mercy has that divine touch in the frailty of the moment. You don't need to speak about astronomy or anything philosophical. Is I
It's
am
true.
here. How is the experience for you?
Oh, no, that is very true. What comes to mind is just on last Monday, there's this young girl that's dying. She's like 52 years old, and she's an alcoholic. She just got some very major issues with cancer, and she's dying. And they tell me she's not very religious, maybe spiritual. They weren't sure if she'd be open to my presence, to my visit. And I told the mom, I'll just go and be present. That's all. I'm not there to proselytize, to bring my faith and to her. No, no, it's just I just want to be present next to her. And she said, okay, fine. And I remember walking into her room, and without saying anything, I'm not sure if she knew who I was, but just entering into this room, she looked at me and she began to cry. And for me, it was so powerful. It wasn't anything that I was bringing something special. It was the fact that I was bringing the Jesus that I had prayed to and asked for him to help me be present for this individual, to bring this person peace and comfort. And it was just very powerful to see what was happening without me even praying to Jesus or praying. It was just being present. Then afterwards I asked about if she wanted prayer, did she believe in God? And yes, but that wasn't why I was there. I didn't go that wasn't my initial
Absolutely.
invitation there. I just
No,
wanted to be present and to see her tears, and she began to cry. And she's been here in my heart as I continue to pray for her.
that's the
Mhm.
thing that when you have those experiences, it's not like they end. You continue having them here, and then you carry them in your heart. And
Yes.
in the simplicity of a moment of prayer, you offer it. And it's the desert. That's the silent desert where we look at the Father, at Jesus, and say, this is yours.
Mhm.
I was there in your name. They saw you. That's wonderful. We go there.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that prayer is beautiful anyway, the silent moment of prayer of Jesus, because he doesn't ask. What does Jesus have to ask? He has everything. He has the love of the Father. And
Exactly.
just like you were present to that girl, and Jesus was present to the Father, and it'll give him a very, very serious internal certainty of what's the next step,
Yeah.
because there's a
Right.
union in that. And that's what will drive us. Maybe will drive us through Lent, because we need still, like the pandemic has changed the way we celebrate masses. We don't have marble altars, we don't have too many decorations, but
That's
God
right.
is still there in the deserted place. And
Yes, he
Lent
is.
is going to force us to go into the desert. So
Right.
hopefully it'll be something like that.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. How about you? How did that? How does that challenge you, or move you in a personal way? This this setting of Jesus going into the desert and praying to be one with him. Maybe you already said it, but on a personal level, how does that move you?
And the personal level has always happened that I have forced myself to be quiet, because there's always the sense of I need to ask him things. No, I am with him. He knows what I need. And just to make an act of faith that he knows what I need and I don't need to insist. So quieting down, then I feel uncomfortable. But I say this uncomfortable is good because he's my father and he knows me, and so he can embrace me. I kind of felt it on the other side because of my mother, Alzheimer's. And right now, she's almost like a vegetable. Her memory is completely gone. And I haven't seen her lately because of the pandemic, anyway, just to protect her. And
Right, right.
but one thing happened before. Once she forgot about me, and I remember that day that she said, "I recognize your voice, but I don't know who you are, and I love
Mhm.
you." And so I was like, "Oh, great." The next time I visited,
That's hard.
then
Yeah,
I just sat down. There was no recognition at all, and it didn't matter. I was just there. And
right,
so I said, maybe my mother, the one that gave me life, it was God, but she was there to help. That relationship also of trust, of the load of love that exists between, maybe that's the way I need to continue praying,
right,
so that I
right,
don't worry too much about the details. I just worry about being in front, Blessed Sacrament, or silent prayer, or in my car when I'm shutting myself off, saying, Ricardo, stop judging, stop doing this, just focus on the Lord and you're driving.
right.
It kind of helps me.
Yeah, good. No, that's good, and that's important, and it's good that you talk about the process. The process of getting to that point of surrender, because initially, yeah, it's the shock. Like, how can how can you not recognize me, mom? Or and that obviously that as a human, it's got to have some kind of impact. But then, with God, you work that, and you get to this place of peace, of acceptance, of surrender, and that's where God meets us, and right, and, gives us
Exactly.
that peace.
Well, it was nice talking to you.